Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Event Tech Live for another episode of the Event Tech Talk Show. Today, I'm joined by Rob Murdoch of Exposure Analytics, and we're going to be talking about how Event Tech sensors, behavioral analytics, and real-time data are transforming physical events. So no more gut feelings, just smart decisions. Rob, thank you for joining me on the podcast. Before we dive into the tech bit, can you tell us what inspired you to launch Exposure Analytics, a little bit about your background?
Thank you for having me. It's always interesting doing these. Well, actually, it's my first podcast. It started back in 2007 when I had a couple of telecoms businesses, and we did we converted all the UK festivals to using hosted VoIP telephony, internet telephony. And the partner I did it with, I said, this is a great industry. I want to get involved in this. So one day we'll have a business together. And then 2013 came along and I was able to exit my other businesses and we started this one. Sadly, me and this guy fell out and we're not working together anymore, but Exposure Analytics started in 2013 and onwards and upwards.
There you go. So you love the rock and roll of it really than anything else. That's what you wanted.
Yeah, and it's not the same glamorous stuff that we do now.
So you've been in the industry for quite a while now, so you've seen things evolve. When it comes to your specific technology, what is the value proposition to the brands and agencies and organisations that use it?
So I think when people started, it was all about counting people, it was numbers. And now it's about the insights that we're giving them, the behaviour, what's enticing people onto their booths. Because we primarily work with the exhibitors rather than the organisers, so individual booths. And they want to know what draws them into their stand. So that's the main thing that's happened for us and the changes we're seeing. So we're giving deeper insights to our clients rather than just, there's some numbers for you and dwell times. It's all about the deeper insights.
I've been very fortunate to have been to a number of your own events over the years, Data and Dine, where you've gone quite deep into where the value is and actually had some of your customers come along and talk about that. And I can remember a number of brands like Philips and Canon's talking about how they not just learn for next year, but they're actively able to make changes and move the needle while the event's actually happening, right? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really, I'm passionate about seeing our clients do that. Some of our clients, when they have a big booth, they have what we call morning prayers, and they talk about the booth activity the day before. Say, look, this place got nobody going to it. We need to push more people over there. So that next day, they're pushing them. My favourite one was a major US car brand. It was quite a way back, and it was I think it was Frankfurt Motor Show. I'm not sure if that happens anymore, but they had, you could make your own Lego person, but they had that on the edge of the booth. So people were coming up and just playing with it and doing it. The guys back at the head office were looking at this data and go, hold on, why is nobody going into the centre of the booth? And they realised that they were just looking at the Lego and making their own Lego. They pushed the Lego into the middle of the booth, and hey presto, the next day everybody's going on and dispersing around the booth rather than just being in the corner.
And I guess when you're spending as much money as some of these organisations are, we're talking about major international trade shows, big client pieces for them as well as lead generation pieces.
We've got some exhibitors that are spending 5-10 million euros on a booth.
Yeah, you can't get after the show and go, we shouldn't have put the Lego thing on the end, should you?
Yeah. It's got to be incisive, it's got to be real time, they've got to use that data. And I'm surprised sometimes by our clients that we have some clients that will look at the data 3-4 months after the event, and I was like, what are you doing that for? But those are the clients that, mainly agencies, and I'm not talking bad of agencies, but it's more of a tick box. Their clients ask them to have analytics. So they go, there you go, there's analytics. The ones that use the data correctly are the ones that are interrogating it daily, actively looking at it. What change can it make? What impact is it having on their event? And what can they do to improve? Because all we want as exhibitors, as organisers, we want the best experience for our visitors and for ourselves.
What's involved in interpreting that data then when it comes to that customer? What are they seeing and how are they then able to make decisions off of that data?
Storytelling's the biggest thing, I think. The data tells a story. And if you're just looking at the data as like it's a tech stack, it's a tech dashboard, it's the wrong way to look at it. Look at the story it tells you. So we're always looking to enhance our product so it's giving deeper breadth of data. So we have a new product, new aspect called customer journey. Well, say new, it's a few months old, and that will tell them where somebody started on their booth and where they finished on their booth, so they can follow that journey through. And so many times we hear about the booths being designed in a specific way for people to move around it, and when they actually look at the data, it doesn't do that. And first of all, they'll question the data, and then they go, actually, no, your data's right, but what do we do wrong? Well, people do this at an exhibition, people do that, you need to look at that. And they do ask us for information, but sometimes we're reluctant to give them sort of feedback on the sort of the booth as a sense, but the data will give them feedback on, but actually the aesthetics of the booth we won't, because that's not us. We're not a design house.
Not sure the agency would be
they'd
too happy about that as well, would they?
I mean, I have made some comments to clients because I know they'll pick up on something, and I'm like, I'll attend the bigger booths for our clients and the bigger shows, and I say, look, you've got a problem there. Look, people are going that way, not that way. You want to get somebody over there.
Yeah.
And you see it visibly, and you also see it in the data. And I see it first in the data, then I go and visibly look at it and go, yeah, sort that one out.
What I'm seeing, Rob, across the board, and I might be wrong, so I'll say that with a caveat that I've not seen you go down this route yet, but lots of other organisations and providers are looking at AI to be able to feed some of this back in real time and make suggestions. What's your thoughts and feelings on that?
AI's got its place, and we do have AI on the platform, so we do AI reporting. And we've done over 8,000 events, so we're using AI to interrogate those 8,000 events to give feedback to our clients. Now, some of them we can discount because some of them are pre-COVID, but post-COVID, those are the ones that are important, because the climate changed after COVID, and it's using that AI to delve deeper into that data. And we've even employed a guy who's got a master's in AI. Yeah. So we believe in it. It scares me, if I'm honest with you. The technology side of it does, but the benefits it can give to our clients is immense. And that's what we want to do, give benefits to our clients and making sure they're gaining an advantage from it.
Yeah, I think sometimes AI, or at least what I've seen even more recently, is it's been very much used as a marketing hook. It's like we're now AI powered, but there doesn't seem to be much real substance to it. It's very surface level. It doesn't actually add much value. It's just an element of, well, now we've been able to shoehorn AI in some marketing literature.
Yeah, I mean, we don't like shoehorning anything in. It's like, we don't really brag about AI. We just have it there. So we give our clients an online portal and the data's there, but they can also download as a PDF. And the AI side of it is we thought, well, let's give them an AI summary of the event with that report. And AI needs to be trained, and the first one I saw, I was like, oh, we can't send that to a client. We can't tell them to do that. I mean, it was quite blunt. So you've got to know what you're doing with AI, and I can't profess to know what I'm doing, so that's why we have experts that do it. But it was very, very blunt.
Yeah, you have to present it to them and let them make their own decisions on it. And
yes, like that. You can't tell them that staff member did a crap job, and this one, you need to do it in a nice diplomatic way, but something that enhances the experience for them, enhances that data.
I think the AI reporting in summaries is actually, probably half the battle, right? You mentioned yourself that sometimes people aren't actually looking at the data for maybe 3 or 4 months, and we don't have a really great memory as well, so not always can we contextually remember what happened at the event or what was going off and stuff like that. We've seen it with the AI summaries we do on sessions. They're actually really of high interest to attendees because it just gives them enough information to be able to take that away and do something with it, rather than then having to go from, I would imagine from your side, somebody going through all of that data and creating that report, which would probably take them hours, maybe days, if not weeks, or something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, most definitely. The AI report is just there instantaneously. It's literally, once the event's finished, the AI report is there. We've also, when we have multiple clients at an event, we will give them comparisons, and AI will give it a composite score. So it's all anonymous. So clients love to be benchmarked and like, where are we? How are we achieving? And if the competitors over there and we're looking after them, we'll we can't tell them that we're looking after them, but we can give them some average data and say, hey, this is what happened. And when the AI report comes through, summarising it all and the comparisons, they go, oh, we did better than them. And we did better on them in dwell time, but not as good on footfall. And it's nice to see that healthy competition, but all anonymous. So we'll say company X, company Y, company Z, and you were company Y.
I think it's good to be measured against not just competition, but other players in your field, right?
Yeah.
What you don't measure, you can't improve.
No, yeah. So we do industry scoring as well. So we work across a broad spectrum of industries, and we'll score those industries. So automotive, pharmaceutical, defence, oil and gas, even caravan shows, and yeah.
So over the lifespan and the time that you've been working on these shows as a supplier, what's one thing that you think is a mistake that happens when it comes to stand design and attracting an audience to that design and making it effective?
Mistake about stand design. I'm the wrong person to ask about that. I mean, the data will tell us a lot, but I will never make comments about mistakes our clients make on stand designs.
All right, what's the one thing you think they get right?
So the perception from people is that sometimes they think the numbers are higher than they actually are. And if you actually look at it, say, there's absolutely no way you could have had that many people. And when you point it out like that, you go, oh yeah, you're right. The bad ones want big numbers. The good ones want true numbers.
Yeah.
We won't give big numbers for the sake of giving big numbers. We give the numbers that the data presents to us. And I'm always surprised when people say, oh, I thought it'd be busier than that. We had an interesting one for a major US sport. I'm not going to name it. It's something that happened in London, and it was a takeover of an area, and it was so poorly attended. And the client wasn't there, and they questioned our numbers. We had somebody on site, so it was a big setup, and we like to take photos just to compare what the sensor's seeing and what we're seeing, and we sent the photos to them. Oh yeah, the staff said it was a lot busier than that. But the photos told a story, and our data told a story. So the photos and our data matched up. Their storytelling from their people on site didn't.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting point you make, because there is such a focus on numbers just in events in general, right? Pre-registration numbers, audience numbers, lead capture numbers. It's the thing that we seem to measure by. But I don't know whether it's the right measurement, because ultimately, at Event Tech Live today, there could be 20,000 people here. Does that mean you as an exhibitor are having a more effective exhibit, or is there just more people in the room?
To me, it's all about quality. Yeah. It's not quantity, it's quality, and it should always be about that. I mean, all right. It depends what you do. If you're doing experiential activation, it's quantity. You want as many people to see that pop-up that you've just done. That's what you want. But for an exhibitor, you want quality. Yeah. Absolute quality of people coming to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. My next question for you is, in your opinion, what's the biggest misconception when it comes to data and analytics? Made you think with that one, hasn't it?
Yeah. So I think they look at it, I think I said it before, they look at it as tech stack, and they should be using it as a storyteller. Don't just have it as a tick box. Have it there to help you improve. And they just don't, some clients just don't care about the data. And I'm like, why have you bothered having this? Yeah. But the ones that do care, it's about how can we evolve? Where can we take this to the next level? What can we do to make our customers' experience better? Because as a visitor to the booth, you're a customer. You want to make their experience really good. And if you've just got people standing around doing nothing, booth staff, measuring their performance, that really helps. You'll have some people that are standing there on the booth like this, on the side of it, scaring them off. And then you've got others that are just welcoming and bringing them on, and without doing that hard sell. So the data presents that story to them.
I think you know what, that what you just said there, it goes all the way through that. When I've seen individuals that are on stands themselves, they're not engaged, they're at the back, they're on the laptop, they're on the phone, it's probably because they themselves have not been told the reason to be there, or what good looks like.
Yeah, so one of our clients actually has, dare I say, they're fluffers. They actually call them fluffers, and they are there to G up their staff because it's a hard job working an exhibition stand. And you're on your feet all day, and some shows are 4 days, some days 5 days. And if you're there, it's tiring. So you need somebody to encourage you that you're doing the right thing and to guide you as well. I don't think there's enough guidance on how to be a good brand ambassador on a booth and how to perform.
Yeah.
It is a performance what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've got exhibitors here who obviously approach things very differently. I know, and I won't point them out, but I know one of the most successful companies, they spend a number of days in the lead up to the show talking to their sales team, giving them clear instructions on what good likes, and actually incentivize the show for them, make it fun.
Yeah.
So have little bits of competitions. It's not about who captures the most leads, it's gamified for them. So it could be like, who's the first one to shake somebody's hand on the opening show of the morning? Who's the first one to give something away? Who's the first one to speak to somebody with a blue shirt? Things like that, and it gives them things to aim for to get engaged and get them comfortable talking to people, and then they walk away with 300 leads.
Yep.
So,
It's all about making things simple, isn't it? Not overthinking it. And as soon as you start overthinking what you're doing on your booth, it makes it really, really difficult. There's some people we know. Boo!
we are live from the show floor.
Oh shit.
Definition, dwell time and visitor flow. Are they different? Are they the same thing?
Oh God, yeah, very, very different. Yeah, dwell time is about magnetism. What's the magnetism that brings the people there, makes them stay there? Visitor flow is about the design of the booth. So how are they flowing around it? I remember we did a show at IFA, and our client had one whole hall. Very difficult to say with a bit of tongue twister. They had one hall, and the design of it, they had this rotating cube at the front, and it was pushing people. It was going around that way, and it was pushing them to the right. Because we want them to go to the left, this will change the rotation of it. It's very simple, but that's what visitor flow does, and we can monitor that flow and see how they're moving around. So the more sensors we have in a space, the more data we can give them. So generic data, sort of diluted data, pushing it down and showing that movement through. And not all the time do they have that movement. I was here at Excel for a pharmaceutical show last year, and all of this area was opened up that way. And my client said to their designers, we got a new product launch, I want it here. Even though the main entrance was there, it was open there. And she knew people were going to come from that direction. And our sensor was able to show that she was right. And she said, Rob, thank you. I'm saved now, because like my job was on the line whether I got this right or wrong. And it proved them right. It proved itself right that they came down that way. So visitor flow is very important. And dwell is important as well. People measure different things. So we have dwell, we have engaged dwell, we have indirect dwell, and there's lots of terminology that we have which are not sort of specific to us, but people understand those terminologies. But dwell is an important factor. If you've only got people staying on your stand for 10 seconds, you're doing something wrong, unless you're doing a giveaway. Yeah. Unless all you want to do is give people freebies, fine, you've done your job. But if you want people to engage with you, you've got to measure that dwell. And what do the systems do? What is out there that will measure that dwell for you? Yes, you could. I've seen people with clickers. They're standing there with clickers. Yes, you'll count the amount of people. But again, we go back to the fact it's numbers. It's just there's my footfall. That's not what people want anymore. Brands don't want that anymore. They want more in-depth, more insights.
Yeah. For those listening, Rob's tactic at Event Tech Live for dwell time has been to bring Tunnock caramel wafers and create Jenga on his stand.
Yeah, the Jenga just happened a while ago when you were there, so yeah. And it's not fallen down yet, so anyone wants to challenge it and go get a Jenga, yeah. So they're branded as well, the Tunnocks bar, caramel Tunnocks.
Have you got any other examples? We touched on it a little bit earlier, but maybe didn't give specific examples of how those brands and those exhibitors have changed things on their stand. I know you mentioned the Lego thing, but is there other examples as well? Of how
Lego, we've had male grooming, and one client had a new shaver out, and they forgot to put it on the actual booth. So people were coming along to see it, and then the brand manager said, "Hold on, we haven't got the new shaver." They got the new shaver out, and then LA presto, yeah, Footfall grew. And you could get yourself shaved and everything like that, but they didn't have the new. Yeah, simple things like that, really. What else have people done? Many things. Some things I can't talk about. It's confidential for the clients, but it's the interpreting of the data and making sure that they're interpreting correctly and it's telling that story for them.
What do you think is coming next then when it comes to footfall analytics, understanding audiences and things and how they engage and interact with?
It's more about the behaviour, I think. It's going to be about the behaviour of the visitor and what entices them, what they do once they're on your booth. So when we first started out, we were just counting people, giving them some dwell time. And now it's about what happens once they arrive on your booth. Where's their exit point? And where do they spend the most time? And then once they've got that data, using that data for the next year or the next event and improving on it.
Through this conversation, something's come to me and I want to put it to...
Is that repetition from me?
Have you ever considered... You have all this anonymised data. You have all this wealth of experience over the years of how people engage with stands and what works and how changes can make things effectively change. And my mind goes almost to an element of predictive analytics, which could your data be licensed anonymously to plug into a stand builder and a stand designer's system so that they could make adjustments and have feedback in real time of like, well, if we change this, you might, on average, score a better score based on benchmarking?
Yes, we have an API and they can pull that data live from us.
Okay.
So yes, that can be done. But predictive, yes, we'd like to be able to predict. I mean, for me, the predictive side of it is the depth of data that we have.
Yep.
And then we can start predicting to our clients what sort of dwell times, what sort of footfall they should have at their event next year. That's where I want to go with AI and the predictive side of things. And, you know, we capture what location they're at. Are they near toilets? Are they near a cafe?
Yep.
Are they in the middle of the space? Are they in the front of the space? And being at the front is not always the best place to be. We've had stands here at the front, and it's not always the best place to be. Being at the back's not always the best place, not always the worst place to be. So each event is different. You've got to look at the space and go, what is in this space? Don't just say, oh, that looks like a nice one there. Look at the whole things and look at past data as well.
I think that's one of the most challenging things about investing in exhibiting, right, is companies don't do it every day. It's not like digital advertising where they can spend a bit of money with Google or Facebook and see how it moves and then iterate on that the next day and change it the next day and stuff like that. There's probably a lot of companies sat here and probably themselves today have thought, have we chosen the right location? Because they've just looked maybe down the aisle at some point and it just happens to be there's a group of people on the corner of a stand or something like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think the layout I have here is fine, it's perfect. It's when you go to the ones that are taken at 3, 4, 5 halls, and then you've got to be really thick. We were here at DSEI, the big defence show, and everything's taken over here for that. And, where is the right location? So they might tell you that, and that's another thing, the organisers had for this, I think 160,000 people came to DSEI. Might be wrong with the numbers there. And our clients were picking up 12, 15, 20,000. And like, well, why don't we have that, the total? Well, they weren't coming to your space.
No.
They were going elsewhere. And that's the other misconception they get. Well, organisers said we've got this amount of people coming. Yeah, that's fair enough. And, some of them tell the truth, some of them don't. You do, but there are organisers that like to inflate their numbers, and we have to say, well, this is what we had here.
I don't think it's worth. You're right what you're saying as well. Even the bigger shows, they're sectioned, they're quadranted, they're putting modules. World Travel Market was here last week. It took the whole of Excel.
Yep.
If you were in the South Hall, you're not going to probably see the people that are in the North Hall, right?
Yep.
Because that would take people probably a week to walk around everything if they were going to walk around everything, right? So you've got to place yourself in the right place, but I think that's also why obviously I'm biased, but I'm a big fan of niching down in events. Like there's lots of industry trade shows, but if you're specifically looking for event technology buyers, are you going to find them at those broader shows, or are you going to be better off finding them at smaller niche events and stuff like that?
Yeah.
For anybody that's kind of at that stage where they're interested in looking at footfall analytics for their exhibiting programs and things like that, but they're brand new to it. When they first start getting into it, what do you think they should really be looking at in terms of those first steps?
So it depends on the booth, but I think I would always look at dwell time, because dwell time is about magnetism. Look at improving your dwell time and getting people to stay longer, because that means they're interested generally, and that's what I'll be targeting. If I was a new exhibitor without any knowledge, or I was trying to educate me, it'd be look at dwell time.
Okay. So if you had an unlimited budget for EventTech Live 2026 for your stand, what would you put on it to increase dwell time? Apart from a Guinness.
There's one year we nearly made our own beer.
Okay. You did that one year.
Did
I'm
we?
pretty sure you had.
Yes, we did. Yeah. But we were going to make donut beer. That didn't work out. But I think the year we had it when we were at Truman and we had the coffee.
Yeah.
And you could print your own face on the coffee. Yeah. That I'd probably do something like that again. But. Yeah. I think coffees are going sort of we're seeing less and less coffee on stands now, more smoothies like the Barista. You look at what the Barista's doing. They've twisted from doing their sort of coffee and they've got the juice now.
Yep.
And it's those ways of twisting it, offering something different.
I think for me, the biggest thing is having a space where people can dwell as well, right? Like,
yep.
If you have a 3x2 meter stand,
there's nowhere to dwell.
There's nowhere to dwell, right? Other than the aisles, and obviously there's lots of people pulling backs and stuff like that. There's a couple of exhibitors here who invest in 40 square meter stands because they want people to take the time to sit down and talk to them and things like that. So
there's a little trick I'll tell people that I've started to see more and more. One of our main clients did this, and other people have followed them. But they'll have little theatres on their stand, and they will do stories. Actual productions about their products, but the theatre stage would be right on the edge of their booth. So what happens is everyone stood in the aisle, so they've got free space in the aisle. As an organiser, you'll hate it. As an exhibitor, it's fucking brilliant. Sorry. As an exhibitor, it's brilliant. But they've basically got a load of people in the aisle there, and everyone's going, what's going on? My favourite one was there was a medical show, and this guy feigned a heart attack as a theatre, part of the production. And it's a medical show. And he said, and is there a doctor here? And there's just loads of them. And they'll come running up. Yeah, I'm a doctor. That's all right, it's a production, don't worry. But those sort of things, that increased dwell time. And it was on the edge of the booth, but then it drove people into the stand. That was so different concept. The Lego, small thing, didn't really get people into the stand. A production, they want to find out more, then go on the stand. Because the production it was theatre quality.
I've just realised that if you've literally told that story, that this is exactly what First Sight Media have done to me. Because I'm looking out there and I can see all these people stood in the aisle watching us. They've done exactly that, haven't they? They've said, we'll put a nice podcast studio in for you, Adam. You can talk to people.
And there you go.
But it's just taken 6 feet of my aisle up.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
We love you really, First Sight Media team. Finally then, if you had one message for today's podcast audience, what would you say to every event organiser? What would it be?
Well, event organisers say find some budget to use my product because they never have budget, okay, because we're too expensive for the event organisers. The exhibitors, I would say plan ahead. Work with your analytics provider and look at key metrics that you want to measure. If it's the first time you're doing it, just think, these are the metrics I want to measure and move forward with that. Set some KPIs.
Just before, I lied there because now I've got one more question for you then.
Typical.
Event organisers say they don't have the budget. They do. They do. It's the choice of whether they want to spend that budget. What are they missing out on? Because most of them want commercial outcomes with investment in technology and stuff like that.
For me, the event organiser one's a tough one because we're going to tell them the individual booths how many people came along to it. So we do work with some organisers, and they basically sell our product on to the clients and say, hey, look, we're honest about our numbers. We care about you. We're going to put sensors on your stand and help you. And for them, the organisers then get the movement around the space. So, do people turn left or they turn right when they come into an exhibition? It's different sometimes.
I mean, I think in a crowded and competitive market, which the event and trade show market is, I think if you can offer a service and data and insight that offers trust and transparency, then that is a competitive advantage.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so
Totally agree with you.
yeah. Well, Rob, thank you very much for joining me.
And only swearing once.
That's fine. That's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've not checked out analytics and footfall for your own event, do go and check out Exposure Analytics and connect up with Rob and the team.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, mate.
Good pleasure.